Cafe Networking podcast promotes successful business experts. I'm Tom Rioch, connecting people throughout the world from my podcast studio in Brazil. Joining us today from College Park, Maryland, is Laura Bowers, CEO of the PMO Boss. She developed an AI-powered approach for implementing project management and productivity hacks using the BOSS method. That's the BOSS method. So, Laura, how do you breathe life back into a lifeless team?
Yeah, well, thank you. So I had an experience where I joined a team. It was about 40-something IT professionals, and most of them were burnt out. They were all just kind of, they coming in, doing their honest 8, if that, and then heading home and not worrying about it again until tomorrow. And when I came in as in a leadership position, and I eventually took over the team. And when that happened, we had to really kind of come to terms with what was going on and deal with some of the retention issues we were having as a result, and just kind of get people to be more motivated to be at the office. And honestly, we did that by getting to know everyone. I went really deep with kind of everybody, making sure I understood what motivated them, because people are motivated by different things, right? Some it's money, some it's recognition, some it's a free lunch. It really does vary person to person.
And even a couple aren't motivated at all, period.
That is true. Some of it was just dead wood, right? That needed to find its way out of the team, which did naturally happen, to be honest. So as we started to dig into what people really wanted out of the position and start to align those things, people could feel the change, and some of that dead wood left on their own, very organically, which was a beautiful thing. But what that ended up leading to was people feeling more valued and seen.
Right.
So then when they did the work, they were more eager to do it because it was being recognized, right? And then it wasn't as difficult to ask them to be like, hey, we have a maintenance such and such this weekend. Can you do a little extra? Can you, they became more interested in doing that because they were no longer feeling disposable. So the root of it became, to not treat it as a business, but to focus on the people.
Right.
And then the business just naturally grew from that, right? The work product became better by connecting with the people.
Now, when we're talking, you're the specialist in project management. And to that, obviously, it's generally groups. It's generally something done over time. It's not instantaneous. It's not plug and play.
Correct,
and back to that point, it's not only motivating, but keeping persons motivated through the life of the project. Because many projects take time.
Yes. And
not all of them may reach to success. They may be managing a project to check it against something else.
That is true. I did most of my work in the government space. So we were even working at the speed of government. So for any of your listeners familiar, that could be painstakingly slow. So what we ended up doing is we implemented a quarterly contractor-only meeting. And in that meeting, we created a recognition opportunity. And in some cases, or in most cases, like you're saying, it wasn't recognizing the end or completion of a project because those didn't come often. What we were able to do was identify the person who stepped up and figured out a difficult problem in the design, right? The person who pulled the extra shift to make the deployment happen, right? So we found things to recognize that were based around effort or resourcefulness, and recognize those things and start to show that those were the traits and qualities we were looking for, just beyond just getting it done.
But now you have your BOSS method. I can see that it's, tools for busy entrepreneurs. So you're back to individuals.
Yeah. I decided to make a career pivot. So I stepped out of the traditional contracting space and took all that I've learned, best and worst practices that I've learned, and created this method where we can kind of go into an entrepreneur environment, small business type team, and look at what they're doing with this BOSS method, which it stands for, the B is for baseline, So we'll go in and essentially do that assessment of kind of where they're at, what's working, and really what's not. Then we will outline. So we'll take a look. That's kind of our deliverable and report back to them with our recommendations of where we can see some improvements. And we leverage AI in a bunch of those opportunities. And then we will help them set it up. So that's the engagement where we actually work with them to put these processes in place. And what I feel is one of the most important steps, it's the second S, which is sustain. Because if we set somebody up with processes that they can't keep up with, we really haven't done them a service, right? So we make sure that they're sustainable and optimize resources where possible. And that's where like AI really has been a game changer, because you can be finding efficiencies to actually help the team out. You know, and I'm not a big proponent of talking about downsizing and all that stuff, because I think it's just too soon to see where some of these things are going to go. But the way that we like to use AI is to really optimize everyone's individual performance so that they can have a better overall experience and contribution to the team.
Yeah, and enhance productivity. It's being able to do more. And AI is constantly changing. You know, it's new on the block, and most people really don't understand it. So it's not only... so you're still helping and not only hand-holding, but back to the sustainability, you're following through and you're staying with them over the haul.
For as long as it's necessary, right? So we'll work with each company to see what fits. We like to have a huge component of education in our engagement so that we can leave them in good hands. But you're absolutely right. We're available to do the check-ins, to continue training and educating, to see how their processes have evolved and see if maybe they need new solutions over time. So, yeah.
So it's really training them to use the tool.
Or tools, right?
Tools in the plural, but it's their hands-on, and you're following through and just offering the training to make sure the tool's functioning as you've imagined.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen so many times people will implement a tool and then nobody learns how to use it.
Right.
And it's like, you know, a half-baked solution that you're immediately frustrated with. So we try to avoid that. And I actually don't have any proprietary tools that we sell as part of our engagement. We really look to customize what is the best fit as low of cost as possible for our clients.
So it's really, you know, feet on the floor, hands on, and taking it forward.
Exactly. Like optimize, use the AI where you can, and just make everyone's lives easier, save some time.
Very good. Well, Laura, how can our listeners find you?
Yeah, easiest way is my website. It's thepmoboss.com. And that is also where I am on LinkedIn. You can search both me and my company with the PMO Boss, and you'll find us.
Very good. Well, thanks for sharing your time and expertise.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Okay. Again, for our audience, it's Laura Bowers, Laura, the last name Bowers. You'll find her at thepmoboss.com. Again, thepmoboss.com. And you'll find her on LinkedIn. Cafe Networking is brought to us by Focus MI Market Intelligence, an agricultural market research specialist in Brazil. More information at focusmi.com. Talk to Tom, talk to the world. Thanks for listening. Until the next time here at Cafe and Networking Podcast.